something goes wrong with a hardware or a software, then that kind of failures comes under system crash. Full database backup in the sense whether there might be a mistakes in a transaction or something wrong with the commands or a query, system error or a logical error that will going to affect on the transaction. Then there will be a transaction failure. Everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. Welcome back to the session 4 of Unit 4, and we are in the B.C.A's 4th semester, subject called Database Management Systems. I am Rohini TS, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So before getting into our today's session about the deadlocks in the concurrent transaction, we're going to have a quick recap of my previous session. As we all discussed in the last session of this unit, we got to know regarding this concurrency control. So the management of a concurrent execution of a transaction, then we require a control over that concurrency execution. That is what I have discussed. In order to control that concurrency execution of a database or the transaction of a database, we have two methodology. One is related to locking, or other one is related to timestamp ordering protocol. By having these two protocol or these two techniques, we are able to have a control over the concurrent execution. So in the logs, we got to know regarding two-phase locking protocol. One is shrinking phase and another one is growing phase. First we have to go with a growing phase, then we have a shrinking phase. So and also we have discussed regarding the drawbacks or disadvantages of that locking protocols, and also we got to know regarding this timestamp ordering protocol. So in our today's session, how this deadlock will going to happen. So that is what deadlocks in the concurrent execution, that I will be discussing. Along with that, as we all know that as for the computer system, we may also have certain failures in the database transaction or in the content of a database, right? Then we'll see about these failures of, or we'll see about the classification of the failures that we can face in the transaction, and also we're going to learn about this database recovery techniques. So if some failures occurs to the database, then it is necessary to have a recovery of that database failureness, right? So in order to have that, we have certain techniques that is also I will be discussing in my today's session. So first we'll see about the deadlocks in concurrent transaction. Already you know about a concurrent transaction. So more than one users are trying to access the same data item at the same time, then we can say that as a concurrent execution. Then how this deadlock will going to affect the concurrent execution, why this deadlock is occurring. First we'll see the definition of this deadlock now. It's a condition where two or more transactions are waiting indefinitely for one another to give up locks. So we have a two transaction, or let me consider T1, T2, T3. So we have three transactions. All the transactions are holding certain data items. So T1 is not also releasing the data item. T2 is waiting for that data item to access. But T2 has certain data item that is not releasing, and T3 may be waiting for the data item which is held by the T2. So when all the T1, T2, T3, all the three transactions are waiting to access the same content at the same time, but none of the transaction is releasing or giving up that logs, then we can say that situation as a deadlock here. It's a condition where two or more transactions are waiting indefinitely. I don't know at what time it will going to release, but they are holding it for the more than longer time. So for one another to give up the logs. So here just imagine we have a two transaction T1 and T2. So here T1 is updating the value X. So T1 is updating, or it is writing a value of X, but at the same time the transaction T2 is tries to read X. It is updating. T1 is updating or it is writing a value for X. At the same time, T2 is also trying to read that X data item. At that time, it is updating and it is trying to read that data item. So, by locking it. So, in order to read, first it needs to be locked. So, it is also trying to locking it. So, in addition, T1 will try to lock Y, in which it is held by the lock of T2. So, once X got updated, T1 transaction wanted to update the content of Y, but that Y or a data item Y got held by this transaction 2. In that situation, T1 is not releasing X, T2 is not releasing Y. So both has to wait for more than longer time. Then we can call that situation as a deadlock. So here you can see that we have a transaction 1 and 2, and that table name can be student and grade. Even T1 is approaching the content of this grade and T2 is approaching the content of the student. So, but both are holding those two values. So, this situation will be considered as what? Deadlock. So, here you can see one of the example. Here we have a two transaction. In that we have two data item. One is X and another one is Y, right? So, here T1 is doing certain read and write operation, even T2 is doing certain read and write operation data on the X and Y, right? So, when it comes to the deadlock situation, at this time T2 is waiting for the T1 to release the lock on X. So, if you see this example, T1 is releasing the X at last. So, until that, this T2 cannot access the content of X. So, T2 has to wait for certain time. In the same way, T1 is waiting for the T2 in order to release the lock on Y. So, at last you can see that unlock of Y. So, T1 is wanted to release the content of Y by this T2, but T2 is releasing at last. So, at that time, until that, T2 cannot access the content of X and T1 cannot access the content of Y data item. So, if this is a situation, then it will be considered as what? Deadlock. Fine. So, next, this is regarding deadlock. So, there might be a chances of what failures in the database. Then how it will going to be classified? What are the types of failures that we can face in the data items or transaction of a database? It may relate it to transaction failure. So, what will going to happen in a transaction failure? A transaction can fail to execute further execution, or when the transaction is stuck in somewhere, there could be a situation. It may be related to logical error or it may related to system error. When it comes to the logical errors, transaction fails due to the logical errors in the code. Whatever the code or a query that we are writing in order to access the data items of a transaction, there might be some errors or mistakes. Then we can consider that as a logical error. But what about this system error? Transaction fails due to the errors in the computer system. So, when there is a bug in the computer system or there might be some failures in the computer system, then we can consider that as a system error. So, whether system error or a logical error, that will going to affect on the transaction, then there will be a transaction failure. Then what could be one more classification? That is system crash. System may get crashed. How come? System crash occurs when there is a hardware or software failures. When there is a situation of hardware or a software failures of a computer system or any external factors like power failures or internet interruption. So, if something goes wrong with a hardware or a software, then that kind of failures comes under system crash. So, whatever kind of failures it can be, but everything will going to affect on the database, that you have to remember. And at last it can be a disk failure, right? So, if I wanted to read and write a content, then disk is required. So, if that got failed, then we can't expect a efficient way of doing a transaction. So, in this disk failure occurs when there are issues with a hard disk, like formation of bad sectors. So, that formation of bad sector can happen with this disk. That is also one of the failures, and also disk head crash or unavailability of the disk. So, if anything goes wrong with related to disk, then we can't read and write the content whichever is there on the disk. So, at the time also we can expect this disk failure. Fine. So, these are the types of failures that we can expect on the database. So, we can't sit idle if we are facing some of the failures, right? So, though the failures occurs to the database, it is necessary to recover from that failures. In order to do that, we have a database recovery techniques. So, as we all know that computer system is also going to be affected by some failures. In the same way, database is also going to have some failures, but that needs to be recovered in a fast manner. So if we are not having a control over this failures, then that may lead to certain uncomfortable situation of a transaction in a database. So it is necessary in order to maintain or to recover from the failure as soon as possible. So whenever we are doing it, then it must have a atomicity. That means transaction should be completely done or should not initiate any of the transaction. Just imagine you wanted to send some money from your account to some recipient's account. Fine. So whatever the content that you wanted to fill, everything is done. So now we are sending 5,000 to some recipient XYZ. But instead of reaching that 5,000 to recipient account, what if it stuck in between? So the amount got deducted and it is not credited to your friend's account or to the recipient account, but it got stuck in between. So that should not be the situation, and it should not take so-called 3 working days in order to recover it back. As soon as possible, that recovery has to be takes place. So that transaction should be completely done or should not initialize at all. So that is what atomicity, that atomicity should be ensured when we are recovering this database failures. Fine. And also we can do this recovery of the database failures either in the automatic manner or in the non-automatic, that is considered as what? Manual recovery method. Fine. So that is what backing up of data and recovery from any failure situation. So why this failures will going to happen? What kind of failures we can expect? That is already I have discussed. Fine. So now what are the techniques we have in order to recover the lost data due to the system crash? So there might be a situation of system crash or transaction have some errors or a bugs, and for viruses, and it may lead to certain situation like catastrophic failures or incorrect commands. That means there could be mistakes in the commands or a query itself. So whatever it could be, that database recovery technique should be used in order to recover the data or a database content which is affected by any one of these reasons. So in order to prevent the data loss, recovery techniques based on deferred update and immediate update or a backing of data can be used. So mainly we have to work with the update or recovering of a fields of data, or which is related to the backing up of a data can be used in order to recover the database content. So here you can see that we have a first type, that is full database backup. As the name indicates, full database backup in the sense whether there might be a mistakes in a transaction or something wrong with the commands or a query. So once it got failed, complete recovery of that database needs to be takes place. So when we are doing it, that comes under full database backup. So in this full database, including the data and database, and also it includes the meta information. Also we have a metadata. It is a data about a data. It will going to have a data which is related to the database and what is schema, how many tables we have, what are the constraints. All the complete details will be there in the metadata. So it will include the recovery of data as well as database, along with the metadata need to be restored the whole database, including the full text catalogs. Already we know about the catalogs. That is what one of the file system which will going to stores all the kind of transaction here. So along with the data, database, meta information, this full text catalogs are going to be backed up in a predefined time series. So as per the time series, all the data item with respect to database, everything will going to be backed up on time itself. Then we can recover from the failures. So we have one more method, that is differential backup. So here we are not completely doing a backupping. So for example, on the date of 11th August, if you are done with a backup, so in the next time, that means on the 11th September, I will be doing the recovery. So at the time, from the 12th August to 10th of September, whatever the transaction that we made or whatever the failures that has been occurred, everything will going to be backed up in the differential backup. So it will going to take care about the transaction which is done after the recovery or after the applying of this any of the backupping method. So here it stores only the data changes that have occurred since last full database backup. Once the complete database backup got over, from this date to next date, whenever we are having this differential backup, up to that time this differential backup will going to recover all the data. And then when a same data has changed many times since last full database backup, a differential backup stores the most recent version of a changed data. Moreover, it will going to take care only regarding the last change which is occurred after the backup. So whenever I am doing 10 number of changes to the same data item, that will not going to be considered by the differential backup, which is the 10th one or which is the last change that has been made to the data item, only that will going to be recovered from this differential backup. For this, first we need to restore a full database backup. When it can be applied, once I am done with this full database backup, then only I can have this differential backup. So in the differential backup, it is only concentrate on the last data changes which is happening to the database. So at last we have transaction log backup. So in this, all the events that have occurred in the database, like a record of every single statement executed, is backed up. All the transaction, whether it can be 100 in numbers, 1000 in numbers, whatever the event has occurred in the database, all the transaction detail will going to be stored in a log file. So if we are backupping that log file, then we won't be able to, or we were not going to face any of a failures of a data, or the data whatever we have in the transaction log, everything will going to be safe. Fine. It is a backup of transaction log entries and contains all the transaction that had happened to the database. Through this method, the database can be recovered to a specific point in a time. So based on the looking into that transaction log, then it will be easy in order to backup or in order to recover all the data if something goes wrong. So that it is even possible to perform a backup from a transaction log if the data files are destroyed and not even a single committed transaction is lost. So if you are not performing a committed operation or the data transaction is not committed, though we can have all the file from this transaction log backup, and also it will going to gives us even though data files are destroyed, even if it is not present in the content of a database, then that can also be recovered from this transaction log backup. So each kind of recovery technique will going to help in order to recover the data or recover a failed data whatever we have in a transaction. All will going to have its own weightage. It's all about our today's session. In my coming session, we're going to see about the storage strategies of a content of a database. Until that, keep learning, keep on growing. Thank you.